Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're watching the game with Stevie, so I'm up here. And Celtic 4, Kilmarnock 0. A lot of positives this time. You know, this video is going to have a much more positive tone today. Look, of course, things are far from perfect, and just because we've won convincingly today doesn't mean that now everything's okay and we're back to normal. Of course not. But if we're talking about the game as we do on a game-by-game basis in these three things we learn videos, then we can certainly be a lot more upbeat today with the performance from Celtic there. One of the better ones we've seen this season. I think that from the kick-off right through to the 90th minute, it was an assured performance. There wasn't a lot of doubt. Maybe it took our time to get convincing as it started, but you know, it was pretty much solid the whole way through. And there's not been many performances this season where I've turned around and went, that was a good performance from start to finish. Dundee United was the last one I remember. That wasn't too bad, but this was better. We keep a clean sheet. Defensively, we didn't look too worried. Still a couple of issues to address, but we'll come on to it as we come in. Moving up the park, you know, you get Edouard scoring twice, you get a Yeti on the score sheet too. You really can't complain. I'm really happy with the result in general. Now, of course, you know, I've already said on Twitter, look, Celtic actually nearly made me smile tonight. I am very happy with the win. There will be the Rangers fans who are commenting on tonight's video. I can already see it. I've already been having it to Twitter. Oh, great, another game we learn, another 6 months of learning. Of course, there is that negative we must carry. But look, you know, we needed to win tonight. And we got a win tonight, so you've got to be positive on that side of things. I think that we can all be in agreement that, you know, for as much as we want change, as much as we want learning out, you know, it's just frustrating watching the team lose. You don't want your team to lose, you want them to win. So on that part, I think we can agree on. But you know, heading to Rugby Park's never easy. And yeah, let's look at it this way. You can look at it in two ways. Really good performance, happy to walk away with a clean sheet and score 4 goals. Or you can look at it in the sense that that performance was the bare minimum, considering that you're playing a Kilmarnock side who are without a manager and terrible form, 5 points off the relegation zone. You know, you can look at it in that way as well. So it's really something that obviously we can't get too carried away with. It's something that I think, you know, we've got to just take now and use it to kind of work off for the next few games and build on the positives that we've seen. You look at Edouard now, he's actually scoring from open play. And he's done it now, what, 3-4 games in a row. So, you know, you've got to hope that continues. You've got to hope a Yeti continues to score. You've got to hope we still keep clean sheets. You know, you build off that. We've not been able to do that at all this season. You know, we have that sporadic good performance, and then we don't build off it, and that's been the issue for Celtic. You know, consistency has been non-existent, and if there has been any consistency, it's been consistently poor. You know, like we seen in the start of the year when we came in and lost to Rangers, drew with Hibs, drew with Livingston. You know, all these sort of results in the first 5 or so games. You know, that is the consistency we've had this year. We've not had good consistency, so we've got to keep it rolling from that. But let's talk about the game itself. Let's go through start to finish, and then let's talk about the 3 things that I think we've learned from the game today. So the first thing was, you know, the surprise when the team sheet was announced and Scott Brown was on it. I couldn't quite believe seeing Scott Brown was back in the starting lineup. Of course, returning from suspension, came on and he gets the opening goal. I jokingly said on Twitter, oh, Scott Brown done it 2 years ago at Rugby Park, can he do it tonight? And he did. Genuinely opened the score, and I think that kind of set the tone for the game from that point, because I wasn't too convinced with what we've seen in the opening moments of the game, and especially from Scott Brown. I thought he looked really poor in the opening few moments of the game, and then that goal came, and I think it changed not just the confidence for him, but for the rest of the team, knowing that we did have that control. So it was good to get the lead when we did, and it was a goal from a set piece, which feels rare. And I would love to see a proper statistic on it, because I don't know if it is rare or not, but it feels rare. We got a goal from a set piece, we move on. Edouard gets a penalty, scores. The first half I thought was pretty good. You know, I don't think I was a penalty in the first or second half actually. That was the second half. But you know, we played well for the first half. We dominated the game. I think Killie got in a behind once or twice, but there wasn't really too many big chances that I remember threatening. I don't remember sitting at half time going, ah, we're lucky, because that's been the story. You know, even if we go up 1-0 or we go up 2-0 or whatever, we give away so many chances, which could make you go at half time, well, it could easily be this, that or the next thing. You know, they maybe deserve a bit more from the game, but there wasn't really that feeling at half time. And we looked assured. That was the main thing I took from the first half. Second half come out, Edouard penalty, Edouard scores a good goal following that, potentially offside, and then a Yeti gets a 4th, and you know, I can't complain. You know, 4 goals is great, and we kept a clean sheet. John Joe Kenny coming in for his debut as well. I thought he looked really good, and we'll come on to that. And look, I mean, imagine Duffy was playing today. I think it would have been very different. Look, Kilmarnock still had chances. I think they were quite unlucky, especially in the second half. They had 2 or 3 chances that they really should have maybe scored from. A couple that were close to being over the line, and then one, I think, right in the death of the game, 90th minute, putting the ball wide. You know, as I said, on another day, if buts and maybes, they could have been in the back of the net. It was once again just lapses of concentration, and there was moments of that from the centre halves, especially Ayer. There was a moment, I think, where he passed the ball right to the opposition. You know, these things need to be cut out. They happen far too frequently, and it's frustrating. But you know, the chances that they had, Kilmarnock, yeah, they could have been in the second half, and it was once again really poor defending from crosses that led to those chances. We need to work on that, and they weren't necessarily from set pieces all the time this time. I think 1 or 2 might have been, but there was a lot of times when they just crossed the ball in from open play, and we were struggling to deal with it. So we need to look at that, we need to work on it, but overall, in the course of the 90 minutes, we were the better team. I think that we looked as though we were strolling it at parts. But once again, we can't get too carried away from it. It's a win against a managerless Kilmarnock side. So, aye, it's all about seeing what we take from it going into the next game. But 3 things we've learned then. Let's just get into that and let's get this video over and done with. Let's talk about Jonjoe Kenny first. I'm so far very happy from the first 90 minutes of football we've seen off him. Good signing it looks like. You know, once again, I've learned my lesson. I do not want to jinx the signing of Jonjoe Kenny. I don't want to do a Shane Duffy with Jonjoe Kenny, because the same thing happened with Duffy as well. Look, he played 1 or 2 games and he still looked good. Man, he scored back to back, his first 2 appearances for the club, and we're like, oh, Duffy the saviour, aye. And then it happened, but right now I'm happy with what we see with Kenny. I think they offered a lot to the game today. He was bombing up and down that right hand side, he was getting balls in the box, he was good defensively. One thing that I liked about him, he seemed very, I don't know, there was a sense of authority around him, a lot of confidence. I think that he'll bring confidence to the back line. I think it radiates off him, well, what I've seen today anyway. And I look forward to seeing more of him. I think he was exactly the sort of right back that we're looking for at the moment. It's a big change from Frimpong, a really big change. I think, you know, Frimpong, for all the potential he had, and I think that we shouldn't have lost Frimpong, we shouldn't have sold him, but things worked the way they did. I think that Kenny right now is a better player than Frimpong. I think that's, I would say that quite honestly. I think that obviously Frimpong would be a better player to have in terms of the development and over the next few years, and considering Kenny's only on loan too. But you know, defensively, I think we're going to get a lot more from him. And we'll wait and see. Of course, could go anyway, as I already said with Duffy, but I like him. I like what I've seen so far. I liked it when we announced that. I watched him at Schalke last season, and the opportunities I had to see Schalke, and he was good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do at Celtic, and it was a good first impression. Once again, I think final product is something that will come with more game time. I think we'll see him rack up assists. I think we'll see better performances, and you know, that's only a positive, because tonight's performance wasn't bad by any means. So if he just gets better from that with game time, with getting to know his teammates, then you know, I'm going to expect some decent performances out of the guy. So I'm looking forward to it. First thing we learned is a decent signing so far. Second thing we've learned, Yeti. I'm keeping my trust in him. I know we've spoke about it very briefly that he scored tonight, but a lot of people have been very quick to write off Albion Yeti and saying he's this, that, next thing, garbage striker, £5 million down the drain. I've been quietly confident of Albion Yeti, and I think that he's still got a lot to offer this club, and I think that will be shown not just in the remainder of this season, but I think in the future. I think Yeti can do stuff here. I think under the right coaching especially, and maybe a coach that will help get him back into a better shape, I think he could do a lot. His finishing ability, it's brilliant. When he gets that time and space, and you know, today's goal was really well took. He didn't even need time and space, you know, he brought it in, and it doesn't even come off his foot. I think it actually comes off his shin. I don't think he necessarily meant to take it the way he did, but the way he does and then turns onto it and shoots is fantastic. It's a really good finish, and it's proper striker's goal. So I've got confidence in him. I think it is just about getting a run of games, confidence as well. There's no confidence in the team at the minute. There's not been all season. And I think it'd be harsh to jump at somebody like Yeti who's just came to the club, thrown into the deep end in the situation that we've been this season, and write him off. I think it'd be really harsh. So I think with confidence in his game, and eventually hopefully a new coach and new fitness regimes, you know, we're going to have a really good striker there, because I think there's no denying his finishing ability is really good. He scored 5 in his first 6 games. Then it just went and died off from there. But he's not really had a run of games, and coming on for 10 minutes at the end of the odd game here and there is not going to do anything for you. And it's a stupid way of managing players. And we've been really bad at managing players all season. Like that goes from back to front, from Barkas to Ayeti. So I think that if he gets a run of games now that looks as though Griffiths is falling out of favour with Lennon again, then I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I'm keeping the faith in him. I've just said that. I don't really feel like I have a third thing with Lennon necessarily. You know, there's a lot of things that you could throw in there. I think Brown is I don't even know what to say about Brown. I feel like his performance as the game went on, you know, he's got to try his best to work hard for a new contract, I think. I don't think there's any means for coming out and saying, oh, he's still not done or anything like that after a goal. I think that'd be stupid. I think you could say that Edouard is back to his best potentially with the way he's played over the last, even in poor performances, he's played well the last 2 or 3 games. But then again, don't want to get ahead of myself. I think you could say that Bain is probably going to be the keeper to the rest of the season, judging off keeping another clean sheet tonight and but there's so many things that you could throw in. But with Celtic this season, the 3 things that you learn in a game, or the things that you want to say is a major pick-up from the game, don't seem to go through. And maybe that's one thing they've learned itself. It's just that this Kilmarnock game is a fine example of how the season's been. It's sporadic moments of joy that lead to nothing. So we need to build off it. The thing we have to learn is we need to keep this up. But we see it time and time again, it just doesn't work. So I don't think that is necessarily a third thing we've learned today. So it's pretty much 2 things we've learned. There'll be a lot of people saying in the comments this, that and the next thing, but that's my video today. I think I mentioned everything I need to at some point. So, aye, that'll do. Let me know your thoughts, like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.